Today, I'm going to show you how to make a bread called challah. It comes from Israel and is usually eaten during the Sabbath, but I make it just because it tastes good and has an interesting look to it. You start with 500 grams of strong white flour and add 1 teaspoon of salt. Next you make a well in the middle of the flour. Now this is a mixture of 125 milliliters of warm water, 7 grams of yeast and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Usually I add the yeast and sugar at the start with the dry ingredients and the water after, but due to COVID-19 I can't find my usual sachets of instant yeast, so I have to activate the yeast with sugar and water beforehand. It doesn't affect how the bread rises though. You could just mix this together with a spoon, but your hands are going to get messy later anyway, so you may as well just combine these ingredients with your hands. Next add in 5 tablespoons of olive oil, and then add in 2 eggs. Mix this together with your hands again. Here my camera stopped recording for a second, but the basic idea is you want to mix the dough together with your hands until all the ingredients are thoroughly combined. If the dough is too dry, add in a wee bit more water. But don't add too much as it's very easy to go overboard. If your dough gets too wet, add in a wee bit more flour. Try not to use too much of either. Once you're finished mixing the bread, lightly flour a clean, dry surface and turn the bread out onto it. Now you're going to knead this dough for 10 minutes. Make sure to check what time you start kneading at to make sure you get the full 10 minutes, as it's deceptively long. Once you're finished kneading, put the dough back into the bowl you just used and cover it with a clean tea towel. Leave this to rise for 2 hours until it's doubled in size. I'll save some time by snapping my fingers. You'll see here that it's doubled in size. Again, turn the dough onto a lightly floured surface and gently knead it for 2 to 3 minutes. When you're done with that, divide the dough into 3 equal portions. Roll the dough into 1, 2, 3 separate sausages of bread dough. Arrange them on a well-greased tray, and then, this is the fun part, we're going to braid them. To braid them, pick up the leftmost bread dough and move it into the middle of the other 2. Then pick up the rightmost bread dough and move it into the middle of the other 2. Next, pick up the leftmost bread dough and move it into the middle of the other 2. You'll see a pattern here. Repeat this over and over until your bread is fully braided, and tuck in the ends. Now, to make it fit on the pan, I've had to curve it slightly. You can do whatever you want. Again, we'll cover the bread with a tea towel and leave to rise until doubled in size. I could just do a little snap of my fingers. You can only do that once a day, so instead I'll do it the manual way. 1 to 2 hours later, we have a doubled in size loaf of bread. The next step is to use a beaten egg to wash the bread. This is going to give it the golden crust that we're looking for. We're now going to place the bread dough into an oven that's been heated to 220 degrees, or 200 degrees if it's fan assisted. After 15 minutes, we're going to reduce the temperature by 30 degrees and bake for a further 20 to 25 minutes until we have a nice golden brown loaf. To make sure the loaf is done, we're going to use a wooden skewer and poke the bread a few times. If the skewer comes back clean, you know the bread is fully baked in the inside. thanks to that butter earlier, the loaf should lift right off. And there we have it, a fully baked loaf of bread with a lovely little braided pattern to it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had quite a lot of fun making it, and I would love to make another video showing off another type of bread or other baked good. Thanks for watching.